Welcome in, everybody. Today we're going deep on Singapore Airlines, unpacking their annual report for FY 2023-24. I've been digging through it all. Chairman's letter, financials, their sustainability reports, and I gotta say,
A lot to cover.
it's really a picture of an airline, figuring out this whole post-pandemic world.
Yeah.
So many new challenges and opportunities, of course.
It is.
So what I'm wondering is, how are they managing this record profitability while also trying to stay ahead in a super competitive industry? Are they just, riding the wave, or are they actually planning for the future?
Yeah.
And I think to really understand that, we need to look at the core of their business, right?
Yeah.
Two brands, SIA, the full service, and Scoot, their low-cost carrier.
Yeah, and it's interesting how they use this two-brand approach, right? You've got SIA for that premium experience, and then Scoot, capturing that budget market, lets them really reach a broader range of travelers and adapt to those different demands.
And it looks like it's working, right? The report shows SIA with a record 87.1% passenger load factor. Basically, their planes are packed.
Yeah.
And Scoot,
Even better.
even higher, 91.2%. That's a lot of people flying.
It is. It really shows, I think, a couple of things. First, just how much pent-up demand there was after the pandemic, right? People want to travel, and SIA is capitalizing on that. But second, it shows they're managing capacity well, making sure those planes are full, which is, crucial for profit.
Like a well-oiled machine, right?
Yeah.
Getting people where they need to go and making the most of every flight. But of course, there's always a flip side.
Always is. The chairman's letter acknowledges the economic headwinds out there, supply chains, fuel prices all over the place, and then you've got those geopolitical tensions, things that could really throw any airline off course.
Absolutely. And SIA, though, seems to be approaching this with, a cautious optimism.
I think so. And their plan to navigate all that rests on a few key things. A strong balance sheet gives them flexibility. They've been investing a ton in digital capabilities, which, in today's world, that's critical.
Yeah.
And they have a workforce. It's known for its resilience, for talent.
You seem ready for anything, right?
Yeah.
And that's got to be reassuring to investors, especially those looking for, stability, long-term growth.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get into the nitty-gritty, the financials. What do the numbers say about the health of the company?
Well, that big number that jumps out is their group revenue, $19.013 billion. It's a record.
Wow.
It shows how well their brand strategy and their operations are working.
It's a huge number.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, what's driving that growth? Is it just those full flights, or is there more to it?
Well, passenger flown revenue was up quite a bit, 17.3% year on year, hit $15.685 billion. But cargo revenue, actually, that took a hit, down 41.2% to $2.119 billion. The report blames that on lower cargo yields, which are, it's a global trend.
So the passengers are really carrying the load, so to speak. But that cargo dip, that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
But revenue's just one side. What about their expenses? Are they managing costs effectively?
Total group expenditure, that went up by 8% to $16.285 billion, mostly because of a rise in non-fuel costs, up 13.5% year on year.
And the report connects that to, the expansion they're doing, right?
Hmm.
New routes, more frequent flights, and of course investments in their various initiatives.
Exactly. And that's what investors need to see, right? Expenses going up, but it's strategic. It's for growth and staying competitive.
Like planting seeds for the future.
Exactly.
So now let's zoom in on SIA and Scoot separately, starting with SIA, the full service experience.
Yeah, SIA is all about, elevating that premium travel. The report highlights their revamped premium economy class, expanded food and drink options, new amenity kit, even exclusive wines and champagne.
It's those details that make a difference, right? Especially for people who want that luxury experience. And they didn't stop there. The new and renovated Silvercrest lounges, those take comfort and style to a whole other level.
Absolutely. SIA understands what premium travelers want today. It's not just about the seat, it's the whole journey. They want it to be seamless and, indulgent.
It's about making those travelers feel valued every step of the way. And then on the other side, you've got Scoot, SIA's answer to the boom in budget travel. What are they doing to capture that market?
Scoot's about affordability. Without sacrificing the essentials, they're expanding their network, adding places like Brussels and London Gatwick, and they're increasing how often they fly to key markets.
Giving people more choices, making those exciting destinations more attainable. And it's not just low fares, right? They're using technology to improve the whole customer experience.
That's right. Their new website, the updated app, they're all about streamlining the process, making it easy and enjoyable even when you're traveling on a budget.
So both SIA and Scoot, They're both playing key roles in SIA Group's success, catering to different travelers and contributing to their impressive financials. But let's take a deeper look at how each segment is performing, starting with SIA's full-service operation.
All right, the full service segment, their revenue climbed to a record $16.177 billion in FY 2023-24, driven by strong passenger demand, especially in those premium cabins.
And their operating profit.
Another record, $2.728 billion, even better than last year, shows they're growing revenue and managing costs well.
Impressive.
One thing to note, though, the report does mention a decline in cargo revenue for this segment, which reflects what we saw with the group overall, something to keep in mind as we move forward.
Makes sense. Now, switching over to the low-cost carrier segment, which includes Scoot, their revenue grew by a pretty impressive 24.5% year-on-year, hitting $2.595 billion.
Yep. In passenger traffic, that jumped 50.2% capacity expansion, plus strong demand, especially in Asia-Pacific, drove that.
And even with their competitive fares, Scoot managed a record passenger load factor of 91.2%. They're really good at filling those seats.
They are, and that translates to higher revenue per flight. This strong performance really highlights how popular budget travel is becoming and Scoot's ability to capitalize on that.
It's clear both SIA and Scoot are playing their part in the success of the SIA Group, catering to different parts of the market and contributing to these fantastic financial results.
Absolutely. And that brings up a really important question for investors. How is SIA actually creating value for those who hold their shares?
Yeah, that's key. The report talks about dividends and share buybacks as ways to reward those investors. And they're not just talking about it, they're doing it.
Exactly. In FY 2023-24, they declared 48 cents per share in dividends. That's an interim dividend of 10 cents and a final one at 38 cents. A good return for investors, especially with all the economic uncertainty going around.
Absolutely. And combined with their share buyback program, it shows they're committed to giving back to shareholders and boosting confidence.
And speaking of confidence, let's dive into some of the numbers from their financial statements, starting with the income statement.
What are some of the key things investors should focus on there? What's the story behind the numbers?
Well, their operating profit margin is a big one. Hit 14.3% in FY 2023-24.
That's impressive.
It is. Shows they're profitable and managing costs really well, especially with fuel and labor costs going up.
Especially with inflation. Yeah, like
Right.
they're finding ways to be more and more efficient. What about their balance sheet? What does that tell us?
Balance sheet looks strong, stable. One key metric is their debt-to-equity ratio. It's at a healthy level right now, which means they're not relying too much on debt.
So they've got room to maneuver.
Exactly. Gives them more flexibility, especially with all the economic uncertainty out
It's
there.
like a solid foundation, right?
Yeah.
Ready for whatever comes their way. Now, cash flow, that's the lifeblood of any business. What's the story there for SIA?
Their cash flow statement, it's positive. They brought in a lot of cash from operations, $5.127 billion in FY 2023-24. That lets them invest in growth, pay dividends, buy back shares, and still have a healthy cash position.
Signs of a sustainable business model.
Absolutely.
We touched on free cash flow earlier.
Yeah.
A metric investors really like. What does that tell us?
Free cash flow, that's the cash they have left after capital expenditures. And it increased significantly in FY 2023-24. Meaning they're not just making money, they're investing it well in things like aircraft, technology, all the things that will generate even more cash down the line.
Smart investments.
Yeah.
Earlier, we were talking about SIA's commitment to shareholder value through those dividends and share buybacks. Can you break those down a bit more? Give us the numbers.
Sure. In FY 2023-24, they declared dividends of 48 cents per share. That was an interim dividend of 10 cents and a final one of 38 cents.
Pretty substantial payout.
It is. Shows they're willing to share their success with shareholders.
And the buybacks, how do those work for shareholders?
Buybacks reduce the number of shares out there. So the remaining shares become more valuable, can lead to higher earnings per share, maybe even boost the stock price.
So everyone wins.
Exactly.
Okay, so taking all this into account, the financials, their strategies, their focus on shareholders, what's your overall take on SIA moving forward? Any red flags, things they need to watch out for?
I'd say they're in a good spot. Record profits, strong cash flow, strategic investments. It all points to a company that's doing well now and set up for the future. But there are always things to watch out for.
Of course. Let's talk about those.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges or uncertainties that could, throw them off course?
Fuel prices, that's a big one. They're a huge part of their costs, and they can be volatile. They do have hedging strategies in place, but a sudden price spike could really hurt their profits.
Yeah, it's the balancing act, right? Keeping those costs in check while also keeping fares competitive. And what about the competition?
Absolutely. The airline industry is getting more and more competitive, especially with low-cost carriers expanding so quickly. They put pressure on fares and challenge the traditional airlines. SIA has to keep innovating, finding ways to stand out.
To stay ahead of the game
Exactly.
and the global economy. How might that impact things?
Yeah, the economic outlook is a bit uncertain right now. You've got inflation, possible recessions in key markets, geopolitical tensions. All of that could mean people travel less, which would hit SIA's passenger traffic and put pressure on their yields.
It's a reminder that no company, no matter how well run, is completely immune to those external factors. We've talked a lot about the financial side of things, but what about sustainability? How is SIA addressing that, the environmental and social responsibility side?
SIA has actually been pretty proactive on sustainability, especially when it comes to reducing their carbon footprint. Their goal is to use sustainable aviation fuels, SAF, for 5% of their fuel needs by 2030. It's ambitious, definitely shows they're serious about a more sustainable future for the industry.
It's a big goal, especially given the challenges of, producing enough SAF and making it affordable.
Yeah.
But it's a step in the right direction. What else are they doing?
Beyond SF, they're working on energy efficiency in their facilities, reducing waste, and promoting responsible tourism. It's a broader approach, recognizing that sustainability isn't just about emissions, it's about the whole impact of their operations.
Yeah, it's about being a good neighbor, right? Both to the planet and the communities they work in. Now, let's talk about their people. What are they doing to invest in their workforce? I mean, they're a huge part of their success.
Absolutely. SIA knows their employees are key. They're investing in training programs, providing opportunities for advancement, and creating a culture that values excellence and innovation.
It's about empowering their people,
Yeah.
right? Which ultimately benefits everyone, both the company and the employees.
So before we wrap up our look at SIA, I want to touch on their plans for the future, their growth strategies. What are they focusing on to stay on top in the airline industry? One key area is network expansion. They're always looking at new routes, new destinations, both to meet current demand and to tap into those growing markets.
Staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're also investing heavily in technology, using it to improve the customer experience. Things like personalized recommendations, smoother check-in and boarding processes.
Making the whole travel journey better.
Exactly.
Okay, we've covered a lot today, from their financials to their sustainability efforts and future plans. But I want to leave you with a question to think about.
Okay, shoot.
Given SIA's ambition to be a leader and their focus on sustainability, how do they need to adapt to what might be coming down the line? The potential disruptions in the airline industry in the next few years.
That's a great question. The airline industry is constantly changing. New technologies, changing passenger needs, things like climate change. SIA needs to be adaptable, innovative, always thinking ahead to stay ahead.
Always evolving.
Right.
So what are some of those potential disruptions that could really change the game in the years to come?
One is advanced air mobility. Things like electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, eVTOLs. They could really change short-haul travel, disrupt traditional routes. SIA will have to rethink their regional strategy if that takes off.
It's like something out of the future, right? Flying taxis everywhere.
It is. And then there's the growing demand for sustainable travel. People are more aware of their carbon footprint, and airlines that offer eco-friendly options will have an advantage.
It's about appealing to a new generation of travelers, those who care about sustainability and responsible tourism. How does SIA need to adapt to that?
They might need to use more sustainable fuels, faster partner with sustainable travel companies, maybe even redesign their aircraft to be more environmentally friendly.
Sustainability is a core part of the business.
Exactly. And then there's always the geopolitical stuff, economic uncertainties. Those can disrupt air travel in a big way. SIA needs to be ready for those curveballs.
To be flexible, have backup plans, and not lose sight of the long-term goals.
Right.
So, given all that, where do you think SIA needs to focus in the coming years?
Research and development is key. Explore new technologies, sustainable solutions. They need to build partnerships to expand their reach and capabilities. And they need to develop a workforce that's adaptable, innovative, can handle whatever comes their way.
It's all about embracing change, being ready for the unexpected, and constantly evolving.
Exactly. And that's what makes the airline industry so interesting. Always a new challenge, new opportunities.
And SIA, with their foundation, their vision, their commitment to being the best, they seem well positioned to face those challenges, to continue being a leader.
I think so. They have a history of adapting, innovating, and giving customers a great experience.
It's a testament to how they operate, their strategy, their dedication to excellence.
As we wrap up our look at SIA, keep an eye on what they do next, how they shape the future of air travel. It'll be interesting to see.
We've covered a lot today, from their financial performance to their sustainability efforts and what they're planning for the future.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, SIA is more than just an airline. They represent innovation, resilience, excellence in the global aviation industry.
Absolutely.
And as they move forward, we'll be watching to see what new heights they reach, what new horizons they explore. It's an exciting time for them.
It is.
It's fascinating to think about how they're always adapting and evolving. But their success, it's not just about the numbers, the strategies. It's about the people behind it all, the employees who make the SIA experience what it is.
Absolutely. They're SIA's most valuable asset, and the company knows that. They've won awards for their employee engagement programs, their commitment to development. It's clear in their training, the opportunities for growth, the culture they've created.
It's about making employees feel valued, motivated, giving them the power to do their best. And that energy, it flows into a better experience for the passengers. So we've talked big picture, the financials, the strategies, the challenges, but what does it all mean for you, the listener? Why should you care about what SIA is doing?
Whether you're a frequent flyer, an investor, or just someone who's interested in the business world, SIA's story has lessons in it. Resilience, adaptability, strategic thinking.
It shows that even with all the uncertainty in the world, all the competition, a company can succeed by sticking to its values, investing in its people, and embracing new ideas.
SIA's commitment to sustainability is another thing to learn from. They're not just talking about it. They're taking action to reduce their impact on the environment and help create a more sustainable future for aviation.
It shows that businesses can be profitable and responsible at the same time, setting an example for others. As we wrap up our deep dive into SIA, I want to leave you with a final thought.
Okay, let's hear it.
SIA's journey is really a testament to human ingenuity, determination, the drive to be the best. It inspires us to face challenges head-on, adapt to whatever comes our way, and strive for greatness in our own lives.
As we step off this deep dive, keep exploring the world of business. Stay curious. Look for the stories that inspire you, teach you, and empower you to make a difference.
We hope you enjoyed this journey through SIA's annual report. We're looking forward to having you back for our next deep dive into the world of business.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep aiming for the top.
And that positive energy, it flows into a better experience for the passengers. So we've talked big picture, the financials, the strategies, the challenges. But what does it all mean for you, the listener? Why should you care about what SIA is doing?
Well, whether you're a frequent flyer, an investor, or just someone who's interested in the business world, SIA's story has lessons in it. Resilience, adaptability, strategic thinking.
It shows that even with all the uncertainty in the world, all the competition, a company can succeed by sticking to its values, investing in its people, and embracing new ideas.
And SIA's commitment to sustainability is another thing to learn from. They're not just talking about it, they're taking action to reduce their impact on the environment and help create a more sustainable future for aviation.
It shows that businesses can be profitable and responsible at the same time, setting an example for others. As we wrap up our deep dive into SIA, I want to leave you with a final thought.
Okay, let's hear it.
SIA's journey is really a testament to human ingenuity, determination, the drive to be the best. It inspires us to face challenges head-on, adapt to whatever comes our way, and strive for greatness in our own lives.
Absolutely. As we step off this deep dive, keep exploring the world of business, stay curious, look for the stories that inspire you, teach you, and empower you to make a difference.
We hope you enjoyed this journey through SIA's annual report. We're looking forward to having you back for our next deep dive into the world of business.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep aiming for the top.